Hey, what's up, guys? We have Star Netlink here. She's encountered aliens and is part of the Starseed group. So, how's it going, Star? How are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Uh, yeah, I am from the United States, originally from the state of Michigan. Um, I'm 26 years old. I'm a part-time student and a full-time employee. I have been encountered with, um, I guess, aliens or off-worlders since my entire life. I have also encountered paranormal activity as well, and I educate people about the metaphysics, spirituality, and the Starseed community and UFOs on my YouTube channel called StarNet Link. It's for people who have never heard about UFOs or aliens before and have never heard about the spiritual community and also about UFOs. And it's just where people who are just new or newly awakened starseeds can go and learn about this stuff without um without paying for stuff or just worrying about negative dogma. Is just a place where you can just learn about this type of stuff and go at your own pace.
Yeah. So let's just start with the encounters then. What were you had like multiple encounters with aliens then?
Yeah, I have multiple encounters with aliens since I was really young.
And can you go over some of those?
Yes. So technically I am a walk-in starseed. A walk-in starseed is a person where a soul swaps souls with the host or like the body and continues living and growing up as a human in the soul. So essentially the soul that was originally in my body only wanted to experience being in the womb, being born, and only living for like a couple of months, but did not want to continue living. So that's when they did the soul swap to have an actual soul like myself that wants to come in and actually continue living in a human body. Um,
Okay, but that is the soul, like the soul, is that like an alien that like kind of like wants to live in a
yes,
human
I
body?
have yes, I have physical memories of going back to the mothership or my stasis pod when I sleep at night. So yes. So technically, yes, my soul is technically alien, but right now I am living as a human in a human body. I'm living out my life as a human, but I do have physical recall of my soul or my consciousness, is whatever people want to call it, going back to my stasis pod at night and transferring data and transferring data through my subconscious about what's going on with humanity and the human collective in a sense.
Okay. So is like the goal kind of to, is that kind of like the goal is to kind of like, well, for one, you said that the alien wanted to live in like the human body, but then also is like the goal for the alien to try and gather information about humans.
Yes, so I'm a walk-in starseed, and typically people who are walk-in starseeds, they're just here to record what's happening with the planet and with human consciousness, and they bring data back to different ET groups that can use it to analyze what's going on with the human consciousness and the human growth of humanity in general. And I met another walk-in starseed as well, and he confirmed some of the stuff that I have been going through and essentially what a walk-in starseed technically does. So there are certain people that are just here. They are starseeds, but they're just here to like bring energy and bring healing energy to the planet. And then there are starseeds like us that record, and then there's other starseeds that have different missions or different purposes for Earth and how to get Earth ready for what a lot of starseeds call it, first contact.
Okay, and so is this like kind of like an on? So this is like an ongoing thing. It's not like you just had like one encounter, like you.
No, yeah, it's an ongoing thing, yes.
Okay, and what is like? So did the soul kind of take over your body? Like what happened to your,
Well,
I
since
guess
I
like
was
your original soul, or
yeah,
was just at
so
birth it took over?
my original soul of this body only wanted to experience like a couple of months of birth, and then in order for the transfer of souls to happen, I got sick when I was really, really young. And I remember my parents telling me this story over and over and over again when I was younger. Um, but essentially, I got really sick and I had to go to the hospital. And um, the soul transfer happened in the hospital. So there were human doctors there helping me, but there were also I guess you want to call it spirit doctors or angels, whatever people want to call them, um, in the hospital room with me, helping with the soul transfer.
Okay, so as I'm talking to you right now, though, you are the alien technically, right? Just in
Yes.
you're an alien in your body.
Yes, technically, yes. My soul is not technically human or like technically not here, but yes, technically I am living as a human.
Okay, is there anything that you could tell us about the alien like culture, or like where, like I guess where you came from, where the alien? I don't know if I
Um,
should say you or if I should say like the alien. You know, or I guess technically
well,
is you,
my
right?
well, you can well, technically, right now, to order to clear things up, I am human. I don't fully am, I guess, an alien until I die and actually go back to my mothership. But right now, I'm currently living as a human. I have human memories. I have human emotions. I'm fully living as a human.
Okay, so you're living as a human, but with the soul of the alien inside you, and they're
Yes.
okay. So they're just kind of like there inside you, like gathering data, but um you're
Yeah,
you, right?
I'm
Okay.
like an information hub for them. Yes.
Okay. Do you know anything about the um alien, like where the alien came from or anything like that?
I do have memories of my home world and I do know some stuff, but to order to sum things up, I mostly come from the Andromedan galaxy. So I am technically a Andromedan star seed, but I don't want to spread information about my race because um it is imperative to protect them because they're the ones that are watching over my body and watching over my people and my collective and helping other starseeds as well. And if I start talking about them, it can put them in jeopardy.
Okay. Even though I don't know if we're gonna like really be able to do too much our civilization to them, right? I mean,
Yeah, sort of to get a backlog, my particular race, is known in the galaxy as like a third party to the Galactic Federation or the Consortium, as it's called. We come in and assess what's going on. We are mostly called in when the planet is in dire straits, like there's no reversible change. We get called in to help races that are on a brink of extinction. Like, for an example, their sun in their solar system is about to collapse and they need to evacuate the entire planet. We're there to assist them to make sure that they can evacuate their planet safely and also find them a more sanctuary planet where they can start over and continue their civilization without creating war or conflict with other developing planets, with developing civilizations on it, if that makes sense.
Wait, so you like you're here to help us because we're going through extinction, or the other way around, like your original.
We are mostly here as guardians. From what I have learned, humanity civilization has collapsed at least 3 or 4 times in human history. And so we are also here to prevent other races that want to take advantage of Earth. But the only reason why we can't fully, you know, come in and do our work is because we have to be invited in with the human collective. Like the human collective or the government structure on the planet has to like physically call us and ask for our help for us to actually physically come in. And we also have to have very strict um rules and guidelines for order to come in.
Okay, but I mean, so you're here to help us, not the other way around. But we're like, it sounded like you were saying your
Yeah,
planet is also
yeah, we come here to help.
okay. So you guys are doing fine over there in the
Oh yeah.
Andromeda galaxy. Okay, and are you guys like a good? Well, it sounds like you're here to help. So it sounds like you guys are like a good. Um, I don't even know what to call it. A good civilization. Like
Yes, we're technically third party, so we're technically neutral in a sense, but we do help in. We don't really get into the xenopolitics in this portion of the galaxy. We're just here to help and assist basically. We don't really get into the whole xenopolitics unless we actually have to.
what do you mean? What do you mean by the xenopolitics?
Um for an example, you have two different planets that are feuding with each other for um, resources and planets. And usually we let them sort it out. But if though, like for an example, this type of feuding between two planets goes on for hundreds for 1,000 years, we usually get called into by the consortium or by our other galactic alliances to come in and sort things out so they can stop fighting and have peace in that quadrant of the galaxy. We also get called into some really, really bizarre um, missions that other races don't want to be involved in or want to work with. So we usually come in and help with that as well.
Okay, so when you were talking about the sun dying, though, were you talking about our sun or your guys' sun? Our sun?
Many different races, stars have died due to war and conflict. So there has been casualties where we have to come in and assist and help. I guess I'm going to call it colonies or evacuation people to a proper location for them to continue living their civilization.
Okay, and is that currently happening with us? Like, do you feel like our sun is?
Oh no,
Well, we know.
your
Yeah,
son is still very young. It still has a lot to
yeah,
go. It still has like 3 to 4 billion years of life left. So Earth is pretty good.
yeah, yeah. So you were talking about other
Yeah, I'm talking about other races
places.
and other planets around in the Milky Way galaxy.
Okay, and then as far as your experiences go, like, does it happen every night that you go back to the
No,
to the?
it only happens at certain times when there is, I guess, a certain shift or a certain type of energy that happens with the planet and it shifts me back to my mothership or back to my
Okay,
stasis pod.
and what's that like? And where is the mother ship? Is that back in your galaxy, or is it like kind of like hovering around here? Or
Oh, it's sort of hovering around in the solar system. I'm not really going to give a general location of where it is, but it's been hovering here for a very long time.
Okay, and as far as like what you can, I know you said you don't really want to say too much about their, I don't even know what to call it, like race or alien race or whatever, but them, but can you give us any information on them in terms of like maybe what they look like, or um I mean, I know you've already said like they want to do good, they want to help us out, but like when you go back to the mothership and you see them, like, and what do they look like and all that?
So we have multiple different races that work on our mothership. So in order for my human brain to comprehend them without being scared, or I guess you want to call it bogged down by emotions, or not being able to like function and give them the information, they usually let me see them in more of a human form than their true form, to order to not scare me. But I have seen them in many different, I've seen many different species on board my mothership.
And what do they look like? Or but you're saying like you kind of see them in their human form. They're able to like make it look like they're kind of like human.
Yes.
So you don't see them in their like natural state or whatever.
No, not unless I'm fully immersed in my astral travel. That's when they usually show my their true form. But usually, since I'm still connected to my human brain doesn't process things very well. So in order for my, I guess, human consciousness to grasp the reality of the environment that I am, they usually present themselves as more of a human form.
Okay. And like when they take you up to the mothership, what's that like? Like is it kind of like being like beamed up type thing, or like
No, it's like a very smooth transition. You don't feel anything. It's sort of like you're floating back floating back in a
okay,
sense.
like your soul's floating up there. Can you see when you're floating to the mothership? Are you able to see?
Yeah, I'm able to see everything. I'm able to like feel and sense everything of what my, I guess you want to call it, my alien body feels. Yes.
Okay. So you're able to almost like basically see you floating up to the mothership, and you're able to see Earth from space and everything else, kind of.
Yeah.
Wow. That must be pretty crazy. So when that happens too, is your body still here, just kind of
Yeah, my body is
lifeless?
usually in a deep sleep or a deep trance in order for that to happen.
Okay. And is anybody um like if somebody came to like wake you up or whatever, like would you just not wake up? Would you just be kind of like
Yeah, I would be close, like I would still be breathing, but it will look like I'm dead, basically. Like I had this scenario when it happened to me when I was a kid. So what happened as a kid is that I fell asleep into a very deep trance, and I was asleep for like 1 to 3 hours, and my parents tried everything to wake me up, and I woke up right at the point where they were about to call 911 because they just couldn't wake me up. They didn't know if I hit my head and landed myself into a coma, but they started freaking out, and so I bounced right back to my body and I woke up. So yeah, usually when I go back, I'm like in a really, really deep sleep, almost to the point where I look like I'm dead.
okay, and like you just, yeah, you just won't be able to wake up.
Yeah.
Um okay. So in terms of the alien stuff going on, um like in the world right now or whatever, um how like they've said like we've seen aliens, and or we've seen UFOs or whatever, and we don't know what they are. Are those from your from your alien race, or
No,
so
no,
those are
those are
different
visitors.
aliens.
Those are visitors. Usually the ones that fly up are usually just visitors. They're just passing through. And then there are certain UFOs that have very, very, I guess, strict guidelines and protocols where they will fly over certain cities or fly over certain areas to get people to, it's sort of like an entertainment spectacle basically. It's ordered to help people realize like, oh, what's that? Like, oh, there's more to life than what is actually perceived on Earth, and they just do that as sort of like entertainment stuff.
Okay, and are so they're not like none of them are like really like
There
dangerous or
are a
anything.
couple of visitors, I want to say visitors that really don't understand a whole lot about our human race. And so they like to investigate or explore certain areas where they're not supposed to go. And they stir up trouble, yes, but they have to learn that humans have their own boundaries and we have our own boundaries. So it's like there are instances where they, I guess, stir up trouble, but usually they get reprimanded or they usually get in huge trouble for doing stuff like that.
Okay, and in terms of like the extinction, the human extinction that's going on, like, do you know why we're gonna be, or why you think we'll go extinct?
Human race right now is not going extinct. It's more concerned that the social collapse of humanity is going to collapse again. The social and economic collapse on Earth happened at least 3 or 4 times due to environmental issues, due to religious influence, and also with ET influence and a bunch of other stuff that caused the social and economic collapse of human history throughout time.
Okay, and so it's okay, so it's social and economic collapse, and then also possibly like global warming, that type of thing.
No, there's nothing
No.
that people need to be concerned about with global warming. Everything that's happening on Earth is normal.
Okay, so in terms of how would the social and economic collapse look like, would it just be kind of like this complete, this kind of like we wouldn't go extinct. We would just everybody would just be like fighting and stuff like that.
Social anarchy, yeah, it'd be sort of like what is seen in The Purge.
Everyone will just be like killing each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, over resources, over territories. The government structure has completely collapsed. There's no government structure, um, organizing, or any structurally government structure whatsoever.
Okay, and why do you guys um care about how we do? Is it just because you just kind of like want good for all the civilizations, or is there kind of like a balance that like you don't want any?
There's a balance. Earth is very, very unique, not just because um not just because of the human race or this backlog, but because this planet, Earth, is a semiotic and a semio planet, meaning that yes, humans' genetics were altered to order to not be directly, I guess, connected to the planet in a sense, but we can still feel and understand the planet as a whole on another different spiritual level in a sense. But the reason why this planet is so important was because what I've learned through some of the, I guess, regression hypnosis that I learned is that a long time ago, the Galactic Federation wanted to use this planet as a central hub for many different races around the galaxy to talk about galactic affairs and xenopolitics around in the galaxy. And Earth was essentially that planet that they wanted to do that because Earth was very unique, because it has, water, it has many different environments where different races can survive and thrive in a sense. So it'll be a perfect ideal place for this to happen. But I have also learned that Earth is very unique because it's sort of like a central hub for portal energy and interdimensional energy ley lines that run through the planet. And this energy records stuff in our Milky Way galaxy where um, aliens can come due to the vast diversity of our planet. They can, a sense like this is happening here in this location might affect something out in the galaxy with other different solar systems or planets in the galaxy in different solar systems across the Milky Way galaxy.
Okay, but you're actually from a different galaxy though, right? Andromeda galaxy.
Yes.
Okay, but you're still worried about the the Milky Way galaxy.
No, we just work in conjunction with them once in a while. We like to explore this section of the galaxy. Like we already explored most of our, I guess, galaxy, and we're just here to help and assess, essentially.
Okay, and you guys are way more. I'm assuming you guys are way more. What's the word? Like technologically advanced than us. I'm assuming if you're like helping us
Oh
and you're
yeah,
able to get
yeah,
here. Yeah.
yeah. That's yeah.
And how do you guys plan on helping our situation?
Well, after it's already taking place right now, it's just under the scenes.
Okay. Do you know how though? Is it just kind of like there are they kind
No,
of
I
like
can't. I can't really go into it as much due to the fact that it can put a lot of people into jeopardy. But behind the scenes, they're here. They're working behind the scenes.
okay. And they're kind of using you and other people to right to help, right? Or at
Yeah,
least gather data.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of like yeah, so in terms of technologically advanced civilization that you guys are, what do you know about have you been back to the planet or just the mothership?
Just the mothership.
Do you know what kinds of things that they're doing um that are like super technologically advanced as far as
Like we have
like what
allies
their
with
world
them.
looks like kind of?
Um, like I only remember what my home planet looks like. I just don't remember what other planets look like. A lot of star seeds, when they come to Earth, a lot of their memories get erased. So only like their core memories are intact or in place. And usually these core memories are from their childhood and early adult life. And so that's with me. Like I remember my home planet. I remember where I grew up, the people that I grew up with, but I don't have memory or recollection of any other worlds or places that I have gone to.
Okay, so what's your home planet like?
Um, it's very similar to Earth, but the only difference is that we have most of our planet is like 75% land and 25% water.
Okay, unlike us, which is mostly water, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of like the technology, what would you say is different about it than here? Um, like
Um,
like flying cars type stuff. You know what I mean? Like what's the future potentially going to look like? I
it's
guess.
sort of similar to like the Star Wars. Um, the put it is similar to like Star Wars and Star Trek, similar to that type of technology, but it's, I guess, rudimentarily. Like some of the technology is so far advanced that you just linking your mind or saying something that can automatically appear. We do have like entertainment sections where people can go and play and so realistic. Um, but but we don't really focus on the technology that we have. We're mostly about connecting on more of a, I guess, on a more family connection. Like we value family values, we value friendship and humbleness and stuff. We don't really worry about, um, I guess, economics or war or anything like that. We're just basically, in a sense, just learning to work together in a more peaceful and harmonious way. Basically, that's basically how I can describe it. Um, in some aspects, there are certain races that do not understand the concept of money. Like, for an instance, they don't understand like the reason why we have to buy for food. I usually talk to those races a lot. Like they don't understand the reason why humans have to buy for food. Um, I talk to a lot of other races that talk to me and say that what I'm doing for work is considered slave labor. Um, and essentially, like they don't understand why there are so many different hurdles for a person to live out their life peacefully and harmoniously. And so I try to educate, like, this is the reason why. And they still don't understand it because of the terminology is different from a human to their perception. So basically, I'm like a, I guess, translator in a sense. But yeah, the only way that I can fully understand and compromise under help people understand is that um they're here to learn about us and we're here to learn about them, but there are certain aspects of our civilization that they don't want, and there's good parts of our civilization that they do want, but is learning to work with us with our multicultural diversity of our planet.
Okay. And in terms of the like the no money thing, well, I agree with you on that, like, all of that. But how are they living like economically? Do you know? Like, is it just like everything is kind of like a shared thing? Everyone just kind of like living in harmony together and sharing, or like, do you know?
Yeah, basically, like I don't really get into the whole economic portion, basically. I'm not really that type of person, to be honest. Like, I don't
I
really
know it's
remember how
complicated.
our economic was set up due to the fact that I wasn't really grown up in that type of, I guess, sector of life. Like, I grew up learning to become a civil engineer and scientist. I wasn't really a person to grow up and become a ambassador or a person economics person or like what people call an accountant or economist. So there's certain people that overlook things, and there are basically the term that I have found, we mostly live like a we're in a commune.
Okay. And then you said like you have a picture that you took when you were younger. Well, actually, sorry. First, I want to ask you about the religion. Are you religious at all, or
No, I left religion when I was 16.
okay? So once again, I don't really know if I'm talking to you or the alien in terms of that. Like
I'm
you,
human. I'm
so
human. You can, yeah, you're talking to me. Like I'm
okay, okay, so you as a human aren't religious. Do you know anything about? Does the alien, I guess, know anything about religion in terms of um I guess
uh and
evolution or like
I can
creation?
understand that you're having a hard time understand, like I'm human, like my soul is my soul right now is human, like I'm living in a human body. So that in the way that I help you, I'm fully myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It just sometimes I think you also refer to yourself as kind of like the alien, or like you'll say we as the alien. So
Yeah, I'm talking about
it's
my people in the collective. Yeah.
okay. So in terms of the well, like would the alien be able to give you information on stuff? I mean, it must, right? Because you're also a yeah. It's I don't know. It's just like confusing to me because it's like kind of almost seems like two separate. Like there's you as the human, and then there's the alien inside you. Well, in terms of religion, you're not religious, but does the alien know anything about where we all came from, like in terms of like evolution or creation?
Yeah, that's a really complicated story to be honest. But though basically to sum it up, humans were naturally evolving on Earth before a race came in and altered their genetic or a genetic genome. There is evidence of this. Other races have talked about it. Essentially, there's about three different reasons on why they did it. Number one, um, was more on a scientific level. They were curious of how our race would evolve. So they did it. They also did it because they didn't really want our race to develop and become a semiotic or a symbiote planet. So they altered it so that our so essentially what the semiotic planet means is that if the race like the human race dies due to disease, the planet will die as well. And some parts of the planet will die and will re-heal itself and develop another or cultivate another young race to be the caretakers of the planet in a sense. But in a sense, what a symbiotic planet is basically if the race dies, the planet dies as well. And if the planet dies, the race dies as well.
Okay,
In a
but you're
sense,
saying
what I mean is that when the planet starts to die, the race starts to become infertile. They cannot produce offspring. They live really short lives, and they die quicker. Basically, they're infected with diseases. Basically, that's basically what a symbiotic or a symbiote planet is.
okay, and so you're saying some other alien civilization came here to kind of like
Yeah.
give life, that theory? Like what's that, or yeah, what is that? Isn't like there a word for that theory, like that like we're
Well,
essentially aliens?
humans were naturally evolving on this planet. They didn't seed this planet like other planets in the galaxy. They just like like oh, Earth is thriving, it has life. Let's go check it out. And they're living here for umpteen amount of thousands and thousands of years, and then they start to realize that the natives like us are developing starting to have a awareness, a consciousness, a somewhat government structure, maybe not like the government structure that we have, but some form of it developing. And they're like, and that's when the Galactic Federation comes in and assess things and be like, okay, this young race is evolving, starting to have awareness and intelligence. It's time for you guys to leave or learn to coexist with them.
Okay, but do you know anything about how we got here in the first place? Like, were we created? Did we just evolve? Like, is it from the big? Is everything from the Big Bang? Do you know? Or I guess
Yeah,
does the
everything is
alien
from the
know?
Big Bang. Yeah.
Okay, and then so there is no God, basically.
Oh, yeah, there is a God. It's just more of like a consciousness and not really like a physical entity.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you also mentioned like you took a picture, I think when you were like 16 or something. And I think you put up the picture, right? Was that the picture that you were talking about that you put up? Um, and that was of it looked kind of like a astronomy picture or whatever of space. Was that of like the aliens or
Yeah, so the picture that's on my YouTube channel or in my videos, which is like a 6-minute video, there's two beings that showed up in my room. One you can see in the window and one towards the foot of my bed. I took those when I was 16, and they're from the gray race. So basically they're like little visitors coming in and assessing things and learning. That's basically what I was like talking about, where the older one is looking through the window and the younger one is exploring and looking around. So it's like a learning moment for me, and it's also a learning moment for them as well. But is essentially, yeah, they came to visit. I have learned that I have learned over the years that when you're in a certain vibrational frequency or in a certain environment, you can see them. And when you're not, I guess, energetically in tuned, you don't really see them. But there are certain functions on a camera where you can use in order to like take photos and pictures of them. And I found out when I was young that in order to take photos of them, I can't really take photos of them like on my phone regularly. Like I have to take pictures of them in night vision in order to like capture them and stuff.
Okay, was that taken with a phone, or was that taken with like an actual like DSLR camera?
It was taken with my phone. Like I explained in the video, I took it with my phone. Um, there was an app on my phone that I downloaded, and I took a picture through the app to order to like capture them on my phone.
Okay. Do you have that picture with you right now? I don't have it on me. Do you have the picture or no? If not, it's fine.
Yeah,
We
I
could just
still have it.
look at it after.
I just have to dig through my photo album in order to find it.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll just link it afterwards. So yeah, in terms of um the Starseed group, um can you speak on that at all? Like you yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of newly awakened starseed and information that a lot of starseeds are learning. I think right now with the starseed community, I think we're just having a hard time focusing on um communicating with each other, if that makes sense. There seems to be a lot of communication distortion happening amongst the starseed community and a lot of different disinformation. But with the Starseed community, it's just where a place where people can talk about stuff. A lot of newer Starseeds like to go there and talk about how hard it is to function and live a life as a human. They don't really understand. The Starseed community is where newer and younger starseeds can go and talk, or older starseeds can go and talk with other older starseeds that have been around for a really long time, and they just talk about certain stuff. It's just basically where they can reconnect with other people like themselves.
Okay, and that's all on Reddit, right?
It's on Reddit. It's on Facebook. It's on a couple of other internet forums. Like a long time ago in the early 2000s, there was an actual website called International Starseed, and that's where a lot of starseeds went to go and talk before the site got shut down or hacked in a sense. But yeah, there's many different platforms and different areas where people like starseeds like us go and talk and spread information.
Why did it get shut down or hacked? Do you know?
Um, we believe it was that there was some sort of personal conflict going on with the creator of the account. Um, the creator of the account was probably not um doing enough to screen people before they went on, and essentially I think it was some sort of personal conflict that got the site shut down and hacked.
Okay. I can only like see your like half of your face. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No problem. So yeah, so in terms of the Starseed community now, how many people are involved or in that group?
It varies from time to time, but I know that certain groups on Facebook have like 3 to 4 thousand people in it. I know on Reddit there's like close to like 30,000. There's a site on Facebook that says there's over like 144,000 souls that are supposed to be starseed. I don't really believe that in a sense, but it varies from time to time of how many people. A lot of starseeds don't really like to talk about or open up as a sense due to the social and religious backlash that we get sometimes, but we're out there. We like to talk. Basically, it's in a sense the way that I put it. It's not really like an organized group. It's sort of like a social media group where starseeds can like go and talk and communicate with each other.
And they're all star seeds on in the group. Every one of them is
I
like a
want
star
to
seed.
say I want to say all of them are star seeds. I would say a vast majority of them are, but I do believe that others are just there to like look at stuff and observe stuff and like learn pieces of information. The way that I have learned it, and I'm going to tell people this, I do not believe that every human on this planet is a star seed. I don't believe that theory. I do believe that there are certain individuals on this planet, like myself, that are true star seeds. I don't believe that every human on this planet is a star seed.
Oh, so some people believe that every human on the planet is a star seed.
Yes, I go to a therapy group and they fully believe that every human on this planet is a star seed, but we have forgotten who we are.
What would be like the point of that if every human is a star seed?
It would help speed up the consciousness and collective of humanity to remember and regain its consciousness to order to help fully establish a more prosperous civilization here on this planet.
Oh, so that like they would take over everybody's body, make things
No,
better,
no,
and then leave.
no, it's not where they take over everybody. It's more like awakening. Like they're here, they've been born on this planet, they are human. It's just they have forgotten who they are and where they come from.
Oh, so that would be like the whole theory where we are all aliens. Essentially, we all came from another planet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms back to the religion thing, real quick, and then do you know where we go when we die? Like, is there a
Oh, yeah, there's an afterlife, yeah. But it's totally not what many religions think it is.
okay? Do you know what it is, or
The way that I put it, the best description is sort of like when you die, you go to like a waiting room and you reserve everything about your life. And the best the best description of it comes from Dolores Canyon books called Life After Death, and she fully explains the process of the afterlife in a concept that a lot of people might understand. And it's the best concept or construct that I have found that fully explains the process of the afterlife.
okay? And then in terms of what we know, like I asked you before about the aliens that we're seeing and all that, what the government knows. I don't know if you know about like, do you know about Tom DeLonge at all from like Blink 182? You know the band Blink
No.
180. You know the band Blink 182? Oh, you don't. So they're a band. They're like what they were one of my favorite bands. One of the guys, and there's obviously there's a lot of people like this, but he started this group called To the Stars Foundation because he says he's been given information about aliens and he's like knows about aliens, but then he's also talking with the government. That's one person. There's another guy who's been on Joe Rogan. I'm like forgetting his name, but he's like the most famous guy. He said he like worked in Area 51 and like saw things. I'm forgetting his name. But anyways, in terms of what we know or what the government knows, do you think what we do we know everything or
Our government structures things that they know everything, but they really don't. There is a lot of backlash happening. So the way that I put it and the way that I'm going to explain it to people to have the understanding. So there are races that want to come and visit us that are positive. There are races that are negative. Our government structure is trying to figure out who is positive and who is negative, who is here to actually help us and who is not here to help us or take advantage of us. That's what's going on right now. We have Earth humans right now have been taken advantage of for a really long time. And I think our government structure is starting to see that and starting to figure out who is really here to help us. In a nutshell, and the way that I explain it to people, Earth humans are a very, very young race, a very, very curious, naive, young race. And we want to explore the vastness of the galaxy, but we really don't understand what we're getting ourselves into. And we're so ambitious and so we overinflate things so much about our capabilities that a lot of races are like, we don't really know if we can actually trust you, but we'll just keep you on a leash and see what you guys do with it in a sense. That's the way that's the way that I see it. So in a sense that our government structure like we're the greatest blah 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 in a sense, and they want to work with ETs. They have been working with ETs for a long time. It's just that they won't tell people due to the fact that it will scare a lot of people. And if they come out and tell people that aliens are real, the religious sectors will crumble. It will cause a lot of social and economic chaos if they tell people that aliens are real on this planet or somewhat real in a sense. Um, there are and the way that I put it and the way that I tell people is that there are the good aliens that want to come to Earth, but they have to deal with our government structure first before they can come to the general population. And they really do not like our government structure whatsoever. They would rather skip the part of talking to our government and just go straight to the people and have a good time, basically. In a sense, they don't really like our government structure because, in a sense, our government structure doesn't know what they're doing sometimes, and they're a little bit over ambitious. But there are cases where they will work with our government and try to explain stuff, but they just know that we're just not ready to deal with anything outside the scope of our planet, basically, due to of so much civil unrest that's going on with our planet. So, and the way that I describe it is that they love the public sector, the general public sector of Earth. They love coming to Earth and interacting with us and have a good time. They're like the type of race that wants to show up over a campfire and drink beers with humans or go to entertainment spots and just have fun and learn to experience what it's like to be a human, basically. They love coming to Earth, but they just cannot fully come here until the human consciousness wakes up and learns that gets over the social problems that we have, and also to learn to have a more better relationship with our government.
Okay. And they're obviously fine with you coming out and giving all your information on.
Well, I don't really have a whole lot of information that the government doesn't already know. So it's like I'm not really here to like bash the government or like bash anything. Like I'm not saying anything that would make them think that I'm a security threat or anything. I'm just basically like, hey, aliens are real. You can believe me or not believe me, and most the general public or the people that I talk to will think that I'm crazy or stupid and will not believe me, essentially. So they have done a really good job of doing that to people. And I have seen the government structure, like certain people from the SSP who start talking about different government programs, and they can end up being dead within a couple of months due to the information that they spread. So it does happen, but I'm not really giving out any sort of precious information. I'm just basically talking about general information that they already don't have already in their hands.
Yeah. So in terms of your day-to-day life, like do you talk about it a lot with people?
No, no,
No.
I can't. A lot of Cersei's are mostly stuck inside their little bubble. But if Cersei's are actually doing their work, um, I would have been able to talk about this people at my work or talk about this with in the business scope of things. Like I would be able to have a strike up a conversation without um being bewildered as like what you're talking about is blasphemy. You're talking to demons. You're like religious sector. Like, no, I can't talk about this stuff because I know that Cersei's are not really doing their work. If they were really doing their work, we wouldn't be having a lot of social and economic issues that we're having right now.
Okay. And you mentioned like the therapy, like do you have like a therapy group?
It's like a therapy slash support group that I go to. I give it to people on Reddit and a couple of other places, like on my YouTube channel, that people like. For an example, like if you're an experiencer or a newly awakened starseed and you want to talk to people, like you want to talk to people like on a daily basis about stuff and different topics, I offer that as well. Um, but essentially there are other therapy groups. It's just I like this therapy group because it's more structured in this sense.
Okay. And is the therapy group like do you go in person to it or is it like online?
No, it's online and virtual. It's on Zoom.
Okay. I think like I think I covered everything and we're at like the about the hour mark. So if there's anything that I either forgot to ask you about, which I mean, I'm new to obviously this subject matter, so I don't really know too much about aliens or ETs or whatever. So if I missed anything, let us know. Then also go ahead and like plug your YouTube channel, anything else you want to plug, like the Star Seed group that we talked about on Reddit or whatever else. And then I also like to ask, are there any good like podcasts, movies, music, TV shows that you're into? It could either obviously be about aliens or whatever, or it could just be anything that you're into.
Uh,
I know that was a lot, but I know I asked a lot of
well,
questions at
if
once, but
people like the one thing is that if people really want to experience what life would be like if we actually had the first disclosure, um I would recommend a lot of people to start watching the Star Trek series because even though that it's based on a human concept and a human construct and it has elements of Christianity in it, the overlay or the core of it explains a lot to order to help people understand what it would truly look like and understand what it would truly be to be working with ETs and off-worlders on a more peaceful and harmonic way.
okay, so Star Trek's kind of like the best thing to watch. That's the
Yeah.
most realistic kind of.
Yes.
Okay. What about do you have a podcast or no? It's just your YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's just my YouTube channel.
Okay. In terms of podcasts, I guess, are there any good podcasts to listen to on it?
No, not that I know of, no.
No. Okay. So mainly just Star Trek. Okay. So then also one last question. In terms of like your family and close friends, like how do they feel about it? Like have you talked to them
No,
about
I
it?
can't talk to my own family about this, no.
Oh, so your family doesn't even know about it.
Yeah. I keep
Oh
them out
wow.
of it. Yeah, I can't, like, I tried to talk to them about it, but it ended up in disaster, basically to the point of them almost trying to hospitalize me when I was younger. So yeah, I learned the hard way to never ever speak about this to my family.
Yeah. What if they like, I doubt they will watch this, but like, what if they watched this or something else? Like, or what if they like saw your YouTube channel or whatever?
Um, I would explain it to them the best that I can, but if they're having a hard time dealing with it, I probably might have to cut them off
Yeah.
completely.
What about close friends? You tell them or no?
I don't really have any close friends, no.
Okay. So you're just kind of like a solo person or like a
Yeah,
do your own thing. Okay, cool. So yeah, once again, your YouTube channel is was it Starseed or no?
it's StarNet Link, yes.
StarNet Link. Okay. So everyone go to StarNet Link. Thanks for coming on and explaining everything. Hopefully I didn't forget anything. Is there anything else that you want to throw in there or want to say that I missed?
Yeah, my YouTube channel or StarNet Link is basically a place where people can learn about some of the stuff that I talk to. A lot of star seeds think that is general information, but for a lot of people, especially that are newly awakened, don't really understand that it's not really prevalent or known about information. So people who want like get a Kickstarter or a jump start into learning about some of the stuff that I talk about, basically that's where you can go on to my YouTube channel and learn about stuff.
Okay. And then also one last question again is have you been on any other podcasts and talked about it like this one?
Yes, I have gone to UFO Chronicles on Twitter. I went to them, but they have never published my episode onto their platform, probably due to the fact that I didn't really I think I was too far, I guess, advanced in my experiences. So they never really published my episode. I just had one of another interview on another podcast just published today, which is on Drink O'Clock. I think that's what it's called. It's on Spotify. Um, I had another interview with another guy, but I don't think he published it due to the fact that he didn't feel that he was ready to publish it due to the fact that he didn't know a whole lot about what I was talking about, so he didn't really publish it. Um, but I only had one podcast so far that actually published my story. There
And how did
have been I have been on a YouTube channel. Like the first time that I ever went public was on YouTube. But I think that YouTube channel is no longer active as of right now. But I only had like one podcast so far that has actually published my episode.
okay, and how did they all respond to it when you were talking with them?
They seem like they were really interested and curious, but every single time that I tried to um, contact them, they never really respond to me at all. I don't think that they were ready to release that episode.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to take in if you don't know about it, you know what I mean? So it might be kind of like crazy for some people. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah. I totally understand that most of what I'm talking about is extremely crazy to people. Um, but I have met people that have more stranger stories than that I have that would basically um probably not really want people to know about. I have known some really, really interesting and strange stories from starseeds.
yeah. Well, if you know anyone who wants to come on and tell their strange story, let me know. But yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely will.
Okay. Thanks for coming on, Star.
Yeah,
It was
thank
nice
you so
talking to
much
you.
for having me.
No problem. Okay, bye.
Bye.